Daisy09. We all know the story. As one of Gorilla Tag's most popular ghosts, Daisy09 can strike fear into anybody. Or modders can at least try to do that. But while most players focus on the crazy and creepy shenanigans that Daisy09 gets into, there's less of an emphasis on one of the key components to the horror of Daisy09: the music. The classic Daisy09 song gives off the roboticness and soullessness that Daisy is. The low-quality audio mixed with the slightly out-of-tune notes make Daisy feel old and broken. But if you think about it, the song is actually really sweet, like a nursery rhyme. But Daisy09 is so much cooler than a nursery rhyme. So today, I turned the Daisy09 song cinematic with a complete orchestra. And I know that some of you guys want to skip to the end of the video to see the full result, but trust me, it's so much more worth it if you watch the entire video. But first of all, what even is the actual Daisy09 song? Well, the actual name of it is Daisy Bell, a bicycle built for two, or just Daisy Bell for short. It was written way back in 1892 by British songwriter Harry Decree. In this time, most homes didn't have electricity, cars were barely invented, and people lit their homes with gas lamps. Gas lamps. Even crazier, the Eiffel Tower was brand new, and Queen Victoria was still on her throne. That's how old this melody is. The song grew popular because of its memorability and catchiness, but more importantly, because it was one of the first songs sung by a robot. Say hello to IBM 704, a computer the size of your living room, and it weighed over 8 tons. This guy performed the version of the song that we are all familiar with. And while its popularity has risen once again due to the eeriness and unnatural feelings it gives off, many people overlook the actual melody. It's really good, but we can make it better, or at least more cinematic. I'm giving myself 2 hours to completely revamp this theme. But instead of one robot, I've got a full symphony orchestra to work with. And it turned out pretty epic. Without further ado, let's get into it.
Here I was in my setup. And as you can see, each one of these panels on the side was essentially a different instrument. And depending on which one I clicked, I could use my keyboard to make that instrument sound and then record it all together. I thought I would start with a more peaceful rendition of the song, and then bring in the brass and percussion to turn it cinematic. The song starts with a slow, graceful bass line, almost waltz-like. My plan was to recreate this line with the cellos playing pizzicato. This means the players are plucking the strings rather than using their bow, giving this fun, poppy sort of sound, perfect for a slower section of the piece. Now, all I had to do was record myself playing the line with my MIDI keyboard, and it would save for me to layer other instruments on top of it. After finishing up the cellos, I quickly fixed up some timings and notes to perfect it. Next up, I had to add the melody line. And I was going to use violins for that, so I went ahead and added them in. But I wasn't going to complete the melody with violin. Instead, I switched to this clarinet playing a bit lower. It has such a soothing tone to it, making it perfect for this sort of thing. Before we go into the big cinematic section of the song, I topped it off with background instruments to harmonize and add more detail to the song. I added some harp and celeste along with bass pizzicato to really bring out the light and bounciness of the song. But I also used the flutes to add some harmony, making it sound so much better. Now was where things got crazy. I didn't just use cinematic brass instruments and percussion, but I completely reharmonized the song, making it go from happy and lighthearted to powerful and heroic. Basically, I used the same melody but backed it with different chords to make it sound like the same song, but also completely different. I've been playing around on the piano to get a version I liked, and then it was time to start adding the instruments in. I used French horns for the melody, as they had a super cinematic and powerful sound. But it didn't sound very cinematic yet, so I added in a tuba for the bass line. And to make this sound really cinematic, I added harmony with the trombones. And I topped the trombones off with some really cool high trumpet parts. It was really coming together. I also added a cool ostinato with the cellos. This gave the piece more motion and direction. And to really bring this piece together and make it sound that much better, I added an epic percussion line and even brought the violin into some sections to give it that Hollywood feel.
Okay, so the piece is 100% complete now. So ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the cinematic Daisy09 theme song. This was a very different video than usual, and I'd love to hear your opinions on it. Do you guys think I should do the entire Gorilla Tag soundtrack next?